and I feel this gush come out, and I'm like, oh my god, my freaking water just broke. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a video explaining why I was in the ER. So if you didn't see, I posted a poll on my Instagram asking if you guys wanted a story time of why I was in the ER. You guys all said yes except for like one person, but anyways, if you are new to my channel, I am a teen mom, and yeah. If you haven't seen the news or what's happening in Texas, we basically had the first like snowstorm we've ever had in like 11 years. Let's just say our state wasn't very prepared for this. So there was a lot of people without water, there was people without power for hours on end. It's been a rough week for us Texans over here. We had no power since like 4 p.m. the previous day. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. There was nothing for me to do. My phone was getting low. It was freezing cold in my house, so I was planning on going to my car to sit in there and charge it while I just sat in the heater for a moment and just sat in the heat and charged my brother's phone because he hadn't had his charged phone for a while, and I was going to also charge Andrew's phone. So I went out to through my front door, and there had been some like snow and icicles that had been dripping during the day, so there was a bunch of ice that I didn't see underneath the snow, and I slipped and completely fell sideways, like, and busted my knee. I thought I dislocated my shoulder, and I thought I sprung my pinky, or at least my dad thought I did. When my brother saw my shoulder, it was kind of like this, and he was like, oh my god, you just dislocated your shoulder. Because luckily my brother was there to help me up and bring me back inside, because when I fell, I went into complete shock, and I just sat there and was like, what just happened? Like, I kind of blanked for a minute, and I just like, I kind of went elsewhere. Because I was in so much shock at the time, I couldn't feel how much pain I was about to actually go through. This had helped me walk inside, and like I said, it was 3-4 a.m. Everyone's sleeping on the couch downstairs except for Andrew. He was upstairs in our room. We're all huddled by the fire because there was no power and no heat. And so I walk over to my parents, and I'm like, I think I dislocated my shoulder. But because I said it so calmly, because I was in shock, my dad's like, oh no, you're fine, you're fine. And so I went upstairs. I'm walking completely fine because I'm in shock, and then I get upstairs, and then all of a sudden it like just hits me. I start bawling, I start crying. I'm scared I hurt the baby. My shoulder starts hurting. My pinky is like starting to swell up, and it's starting to look funky to me. For some reason there was just something in my head like saying like, look at your knee, you need to see what, like, make sure your knee's okay. And so I had Andrew help me take off my boots because it wasn't easy for me to bend my knee. So I take off my pants and I look at my knee, and it has like a golf ball size welt in it, and I literally, I started panicking, and I'm just staring at it like like, and I look at Andrew in like shock, like, what do I do? Because there's just this giant like golf ball size welt in my knee, and it's completely straight, but it looks like I have a whole other kneecap. So I'm getting grossed out because I can't do stuff like that. Andrew and Chase are now freaking out because I have a new kneecap. So then I really start to panic, and I'm like, wait, what if Chase is right? What if I did dislocate my shoulder? What if my dad is right and I did spring my pinky? So I'm just like starting panicking and freaking out, and the roads aren't safe to drive on. It's 4 a.m. so I can't really do much and go to the ER at this point. So me and Andrew sat there debating if we should go to the ER for like a good time, and then we just decided that it wasn't safe enough to go to the ER at that point. So we went to bed, and then I woke up literally shivering because I woke up at like 6 a.m. shivering because it was so cold in our house because there was no heat. And I went downstairs because I knew that the fire would most likely still be on. And I literally can barely walk down the stairs. I'm like, I was trying to just like go and just walk on it and just bend it, but I could not. If I bent it, it was extreme pain. If I stood on it for way too long, it was extreme pain. So I'm hobbling down the stairs. You know, I literally feel like I just got hit by a freaking semi-truck. That's how bad it was. So I go down the stairs, and luckily everyone's awake. The only person sleeping at that point was Andrew, because he had been up at 4 a.m. with me. I tell my mom what happened, and then I'm just kind of asking her opinion if I should go to the ER, because it's still not safe to drive yet, but I really want to check to make sure the baby's okay, because when you're this far into your trimester, you're supposed to, like, taking a fall is a very serious thing after you've been in your second trimester, and especially in your third trimester. And I also wanted to get my knee looked at. Also insert some pictures here and there of my knee and what it looked like at the time. So when I took the first set of pictures, which I'll show you now, it was the morning after. So the welt had gone down, or no, it was that night, I think. Either the morning when I woke up or like later that day. So the welt had gone down. It wasn't like a golf ball size or a new kneecap at that point. It was kind of like a bottle cap size, but it was still welted, and then it hadn't bruised yet, I don't think. At that point, no one would let me do anything. My mom still didn't feel like it was safe for me and Andrew to drive in the snow yet. Built for snow here. We don't have like snow tires, snow clothes. We don't have none of that. And driving in the snow, it's very dangerous here because people are freaking idiots and no one ever drives in the snow here. Kind of going back and forth all day of whether we should go or not. And then my dad starts saying to me and Andrew that we should leave and maybe possibly go to his parents' house because they had just gotten their power back on and we didn't know when we were going to get our power back on, and they had water here and we didn't have water there, so we could come here and take a shower and, you know, be clean and whatnot. And when we got here, we kind of asked his parents what we should do because we had already drove 30 minutes here, so what's going, you know, like what's driving like 15 more minutes to go get me checked out. So we had asked their opinion, kind of assessed it here, and then we decided that yeah, it's probably best to go, and let's go now before it gets too dark and it starts snowing again, because it was supposed to snow again that night. So me and Andrew leave and we get checked in, and they immediately send me up to OB triage. They put on the fetal monitors right here, and everything was good with him. And then they took me down to like the bone doctors and stuff after that, and then they assessed me. They did x-rays on my knee, and they did x-rays on my hand and my shoulder. But luckily nothing was like majorly wrong, nothing was out of place, nothing was dislocated. Just had very, 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 very deep bruising, and it was just gonna be like super sore and bruised really bad for like the next week or two. We go home and then the next morning I stand up to go to the bathroom as quick as possible, and I feel this gush come out, and I'm like, oh my god, my freaking water just broke. So I go straight to the bathroom and I'm like freaking out, and I'm trying not to freak out because I'm not home and I don't want to like over exaggerate something that's not that big of a deal, and I don't want to scare Andrew because he's still sleeping. I sit down, pull down my pants, and I look and it's clear. So I'm like, I'm for sure thinking my water just broke. So I, you know, finish my business, go to the bathroom, come back in here, and I wake up Andrew and I'm like, hey, I don't want to scare you or anything, but I think my water just broke. Like, are you sure? Like, are you positive? blah 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 blah. But he was kind of freaked because after the ER he realized like how serious it is and stuff like that. We went to his mom because his dad was at work, and we went to his mom and asked, what do you think we should do? I had already messaged my midwife, and I told his mom, like, I don't know if I should call them, I don't know if it's an emergency, I don't know if it's actually my water, or if it's just a lot of discharge, I don't know. She was like, yeah, I would call your freaking doctor. So I came back in here, I called my doctor, and it went to voicemail, and after a while they responded back to me, and they were like, and the way that she was talking over the phone concerned me, because she sounded like serious, and she sounded like I don't know, like when you hear that like stress or like whatever in someone's voice, and it's kind of like and then it starts to freak you out. So she had that tone in her voice, so I started panicking a little bit, and my eyes started getting teary, and I was like, go there, tell them your midwife sent you, and you need to go to OB triage. Go to his mom to tell her what the midwives had told us, and then we get in her truck, and she drives us there because it had snowed the night before, and it was icy because some of it had melted, so we felt like it'd be better to drive in her truck. So after we got there, it took us a minute to find the place, but when we finally found the place, they had hooked up the fetal monitors again. He was fine once again, but I was having contractions, but I wasn't feeling the contractions, but they were showing up on the screen. So they decided to give me some fluids in my arm right here, and you can see it, and I'll show you pictures. I'm bruising from it. So they gave me fluids to try to stop the contractions and whatnot, and then later on I started feeling the contractions, and then they started getting stronger and longer. For a while of that happening, it started freaking me out, started freaking Andrew out, and the nurse was like, yeah, it's not supposed to be doing that. You may be being admitted and possibly going into labor. So she later came back, gave me some crackers and some pain meds for me to take. I took the pain medication, and then the crackers were for it could potentially make me nauseous, so they didn't want that to happen. After literally being in the ER for 4 hours, we finally got my contractions to not completely stop, but to become irregular again, and they weren't getting stronger and they weren't getting longer and stuff like that. So I also did a swab to see if it was amniotic fluid, and it wasn't, and then they checked if I was dilated at first, and I wasn't, and then after I was feeling the contractions, they checked again to see if I had dilated, to see if the contractions made me dilate, which they didn't, which is good. If I didn't go to the ER, I think I might have had a preterm labor. No, I don't think. Almost like 95% sure, because they stopped the contractions and I wasn't feeling them, so I wouldn't have known. So that is that. That is a story of how I almost went into preterm labor at 34 weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment and subscribe. Comment any like crazy story you've ever had, or like if you've ever almost gone into preterm labor. Follow my Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video Wednesday at 11. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy. Bye bye.